Welcome to councillors, members of the public and staff, present in person, joining online and watching online this evening. The time being 6:32 p.m. I declare the ordinary council meeting of July 22nd, 2025 open. Persons not in the gallery are advised that under the Local Government Act 1993, a person may not tape record a meeting of a council or committee without the authority of the council or committee. Mobile phones must be turned to silent or switched off so as not to disrupt the meeting. Using mobile phones to record the meeting, whether audio or visual, is not permitted. This meeting is live streamed on Council's website. Members of the public attending or speaking at a meeting agree to have their image, voice, and personal information, including name and address, recorded and publicly broadcast. Strathfield Council does not accept liability for any defamatory remarks or inappropriate comments that are made during the course of a meeting. Any part of the meeting that is held in closed session will not be streamed. Excuse me. The mayoral diary from June 2025 and expenses claimed by all councillors has been tabled for your information as per Resolution 14719. Councillors, in accordance with the mandatory provisions of the Model Code of Conduct, I remind councillors of the obligation that you will faithfully and impartially carry out the functions, powers, authorities and discretions vested under the Local Government Act 1993 or any other act to the best of your ability and judgment. I'd now like everyone who is able to stand for the moment of reflection. We pray that our deliberations today will be objective and decisions impartial and made for the benefit of the whole community. Let us also begin by acknowledging the Wangal people, the traditional custodians of the land on which this meeting is being held. We pay respects to elders past, present and emerging. Thank you. You can now all resume your seats. We have received an apology. Sorry, there are no apologies for tonight's meeting, but Councillor Sandy Reddy, through a motion of this council, will request a leave of absence for this ordinary council meeting. I'll move the motion. Is there a seconder? Councillor Nosworthy. Councillors, does anyone wish to speak for or against the motion? No, that being the case, we'll put the motion to the vote. All those in favour, raise your hands.
Okay.
Carried unanimously. Disclosures of interests. Does any councillor wish to make any disclosure of interest? Councillor Nosworthy.
Thank you. EO2, I believe it is, the pedestrian bridge. I just live in very close proximity, so it's a non-pecuniary, non-significant disclosure.
Thank you, councillor. Are you staying in the room, councillor?
Correct.
Any other councillors wishing to? Councillor Blackmore.
PE5. This is in relation to real estate agents. I'm a licensed real estate agent. It's pecuniary, so I'll be leaving the room during that vote.
Councillor, any other councillors with conflicts of interest? No. Acknowledgements. First, we have an acknowledgement from Councillor Blackmore. We'll go with what's on the business papers, then we'll open the floor. Councillor Blackmore, Alls Lane. Just quickly before you begin, Councillor, P3 is the, just to clarify, P3 is the conflict? Yeah, thank you, P3. Thank you. When you're ready.
Just an acknowledgement just to our council staff. There's an issue there that's been raised by residents and just in relation to Alls Lane, which is just beside the plaza entrance on Redmire Road. So I had planned to put a motion to council, but council have immediately taken action to do cleansing around that laneway. The other one is there's boys' bins left out in that laneway. So the council staff have actually written to these business owners and asked them to remove these bins from this laneway. It's a lot of the, this is just another thing. As I'm saying, it was going to be a motion about this laneway, but the staff have acted very, very quickly and done a great job. But it's just another thing that this council's doing for beautification and cleaning of our town centres. We are getting there. We've got a new program coming in as well. So I'd just like to thank the staff for their prompt action.
Thank you, Councillor. And Councillor Nosworthy.
Thank you. Similar to Councillor Blackmore, this was going to be a motion, but it is already in motion by the council staff. So I'd like to acknowledge their work on improvements to the V permit system for the Strathfield select parking. There have been some issues that have led to low uptake, and they're working on improvements in terms of the inflexibility of formats, in terms of PDFs and JPEGs, as well as addresses in large buildings. So when there's 100, 200 apartments in that building, there has been some issues on the online portal, and council staff are working to improve those. So I'd like to acknowledge the responsiveness of the council team on taking on this feedback and working towards a process to improve the functionality for residents.
Thank you, Councillor. Any further acknowledgements? Councillor Kim.
I'm a councillor, but also as a leader of a Korean community, president of the Korean community. I acknowledge the Honorable Jason Yeseni, who gave us Korean community $2 million grant for the repairing Korean community center, owned by Canterbury Bankstown Council, but maintenance are our responsibility. I'd like to express my deepest gratitude for his value, for its importance of a community center for our community. And also, I'd like to acknowledge the Kevin Elwood of the Homebush Boy High School. This morning I went there. He's acknowledge he tried to give all the information, the value of Australia, the multicultural cultural value to the student, and invite us and also Aboriginal leader of the city, so Australian landowners. So it is very good for the school children to know about real value of Australia. That's why I acknowledge.
Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor. Any further acknowledgements? All right. I'd like to acknowledge Councillor Sandy Reddy and for the passing of her mother, who unfortunately passed away earlier this month. Councillor Reddy has returned to India to spend time with her extended family, and we as a council wish the Reddy family our condolences and wish them the best in this difficult time. I would also like to acknowledge Mr. Dylan Porter. Dylan Porter, our Manager of Place, Planning and Development, and our Acting Director of Planning and Environment. I think it's the first time I've got that right. Who will soon leave us for a senior role at Willoughby Council. I'd like to thank Dylan for his leadership, creativity and responsiveness. In the context of the TOD and medium density housing strategy, Dylan has been a great asset to our organisation and we wish him the best. Thank you, Dylan. All right. And also from the floor, I'd also like to do one on behalf of Strathfield Council to the city of Gapyong. Our sister city is currently going through some devastating floods. Over 40,000 people displaced from their homes. We were intending to host their delegation this coming Thursday for a memorial service, but unfortunately they've had to cancel because of what's happening on their home turf. So we wish them the best and hope that they as a community can recover from this devastation. Moving on, the confirmation of the minutes, I'll move. Is there a seconder? Councillor Pensavene. Councillors, does anyone wish to speak for or against the motion? I'll put the motion to the vote. All those in favour? Carried unanimously. Now to mayoral minutes. The first mayoral minute is that Strathfield Council reaffirms its commitment to lowering residential rates. To begin this mayoral minute, I'd like to ask a question through the General Manager. Can I ask what the former rates model looked like and what burden was previously put on residents before our reforms? CFO.
Through you, Mr. Chair. So before the reforms had come in, Council was originally planning to increase its total income from residential ratepayers by about 17.5%. That equates to about $3.8 million in this financial year. And this was undertaken as part of Council's application to IPART for a special rate variation to support its long-term financial sustainability. But under the changes adopted in June, Council will collect only $2.5 million more from residential ratepayers instead of the $3.8 million that was originally planned, which is a reduction of about $1.3 million.
Sorry,
1 point. Through the General Manager, can I ask the CFO to explain the new approach and how residents will benefit from the changes to the rating structure?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, about 79% of our residential ratepayers pay the minimum rate, which will only see an increase of about 6.9%, which is in line with the rate peg set by IPART, which is similar to CPI. The rest of the 21% who pay based on their land value or ad valorem rates will benefit from a total reduction of about $1.3 million under the adopted rating structure. Originally, these residents were set to pay an average of $2,250 in the current year, but with the new rating structure, that drops to around $1,894, which is about a reduction of about 16% on those ratepayers. And Council's adopted rating structure again provides benefits to the residential ratepayers, while also supporting its ongoing financial sustainability approach.
Thank you. And so can the CFO say that in terms of residential rates, in comparison to the previously planned budget, they've decreased in the new budget?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, yes.
Thank you. I'd also like to ask through the General Manager, governance. These reforms to the rating structure were adopted in response to a mayoral minute, which sought to reduce residential rates while seeking to maintain council sustainability. Now, can the Director outline who voted against the mayoral minute in October of last year?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, the vote against that mayoral minute was Councillors Nosworthy and Ernestine.
Thank you.
I wasn't here.
You joined us through audiovisual. And to the best of your knowledge, has any councillor who voted against that mayoral minute proposed a motion or amendment to the budget seeking a reduction in rates?
To my knowledge, through you, Mr. Mayor, to my knowledge, no councillor has done that.
Thank you. And through the General Manager, can I ask how many workshops or councillor briefings were held to resolve the mayoral minute and explore options to reduce rates?
Mr. Mayor, through November to December, there was 3 workshops that were held, and then there was a final workshop held in, our normal workshop held in February, to present the outcomes of those sessions.
Thank you. And was Councillor Nosworthy, out of curiosity, in attendance at those briefings?
Mr. Mayor, I believe Councillor Nosworthy and the majority of other councillors were in attendance at those briefings.
Thank you.
Can I ask something?
You may, Councillor.
Oh, through you, Mayor, question for Councillor Troy Nosworthy. As far as I understand, you were against, so I was writing here, you were against the reduction of the originally planned high rate and our residents, several workshops and our council meetings. But as far as I hear about this one, you wanted, haven't you, at the time, supportive higher rate? And also, why you never moved the amendment for this? I'd like to ask you about this. Okay?
Councillor, a question for another councillor.
Can I start with a question myself?
You've been asked a question, Councillor.
Okay. Mr. Mayor, you ran on a very strong campaign of freezing the council rates. As we've just heard, residential rates have gone up by $2.5 million. So it seems that promise has not been fulfilled. Yes, there was a number of workshops. I did speak up in those workshops, and I remember, I think the last workshop before we cancelled the 4th one, the question was, are you okay with option 1, 2 or 3? And I said option 1, which was
The higher rates, option 1.
Sorry, the rates are still going up 17.5%, if you'd let me finish.
Higher residential rates,
Okay.
option 1, yeah.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Continue, Councillor.
No, I said,
Just redirecting the focus.
I have a question when I may.
Answer the question. Is your question finished?
I'm done.
Okay, thank you. Do you have a question? Do you have a question, Councillor?
Yeah.
To the mayor, I also have a question for Councillor Northworthy. You have, Councillor Northworthy, you have sent so many, messages in the Chinese media, WeChat, with incorrect information. Often I heard those things about the rates. So my question is, on the Chinese, local WeChat group, you say the minimum rate will be increased at 25% per year. So where did you come up with the number? As I heard what you said is that you say rate will increase 17.3%, but actually here you come up with 25%. So my question, how do you work up this 25%?
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Mayor. I'm not aware of the claim of 25.
I can show you this one. Okay, all the recording is here. This is what you type.
The use of phones.
We are allowed.
No, it's in.
Yes.
Mobile phone, just to adjudicate that matter, mobile phones are allowed, they're not allowed for recording purposes.
To text.
You're not using a mobile phone now.
Yeah.
You have to print out and bring it.
Councillors, just order, please. Councillor Nosworthy, would you like to answer the question or not?
Do you want me to help you to remember?
We'll just give the councillor a moment to answer the question.
Yeah, I believe there's some confusion over, do you have a point of order?
Yes, councillor.
Just a point of order here. Anyone, including councillors found using a mobile phone, will be told to leave the meeting immediately and for the duration of the said meeting.
Okay. To continue previous directions, I'll give the councillor a warning. Please continue, councillor.
Yes, I believe there's some confusion. The total rates, as I would like to ask in a moment, are going up 17.5%. That includes business rates and residential rates. As we all well know, the residential rates have been altered, and the business rates have also been altered in a upwards direction. So,
To compensate.
to compensate, absolutely. So, I believe, again, the 25%, I'm not sure the background behind that, but in terms of the overall number for the average rates for all ratepayers, it is 17.5%. And that's what I'm referring to in that, and I don't believe I refer to residential rates when I write that.
Okay, well, it didn't answer the question, but, well, just to clarify that point, councillor, business rates aren't going up, to compensate for, residential rates. Industrial rates are, which are very different to business.
Can I ask a question?
You may, councillor.
Through you, probably to the CFO as well, if you don't mind. So my question is for the, I believe it's called Business North and Business South. How many businesses pay that rate, and what is the increase for those businesses that pay that rate?
The total ratepayers under the Business North and Business South categories, there's a total of 1,016 ratepayers. And in terms of the amount that council aims to collect from these businesses in the current year, it's about $9.2 million.
And just to clarify, is that in line with the industrial amount, or is that in line with the residential amount?
This is just the two industrial amounts.
Thank
I
you.
don't believe they're called industrial, like for
Anyway,
Business or Business South, but yeah.
all right, we'll put the motion not to a vote, but I'll have closing remarks if anyone, councillor.
Through the mayor, and question to Northworthy. Really, I want to ask, our decision, we made it with all hard work in this. I mean, for the new rate structure is good for the benefit for residents or not. We had hard working. I really want to show people, residents, that we are working as one team, as really we are working hard for good benefit for the community. I want to let them know about this, but now your decision to do it, is that good for the community? Or our decision, we made it, is unbenefit or benefit?
Can I answer that? So when we discussed rates 2 years ago, it was all about residential rate and industrial rate and business rates. And it was decided through a decision through council to put up our rates through the right process. And we had a graph of how we were going to be in the black in 3 years' time. And that's how we voted for in 2023, is to make sure that those rates stayed the same so we could be, for the benefit of the community, be in the black and not stay in the red. The way that we have maintained the rates and reduced the rates now is that we're not going to be in that position in 5 years' time that we were going to be.
It's inaccurate, councillor. There's a graph associated with this Merrill minute. Sorry, please continue, councillor.
I listen.
Please continue.
We voted to be in a certain situation in 5 years' time, and that was our vote. And it was an independent vote and an independent council that put it through. Can I just say that it wasn't a Labor vote, as you suggested in your campaign. It was not a Labor vote. It was an independent vote with 3 other Labor councillors. And that's what we put through. So in 5 years' time, that we would be in the black rather than be in the red. When the Liberal Party came in, they wanted to change that, to make it different, to say to the people, we're going to reduce your rates to get their vote, right? So they did. They reduced their rates, but we're not going to be in the same position as what we were going to be in 5 years' time.
We will. All right, councillor, we're finished. Just closing remarks from myself. Look, I move this Merrill minute in response to the misinformation being currently spread about our council's rate structure reform, such as Councillor Nosworthy's claim that we have evidence of that rates are going up 25%. That is why, despite being against the advice of many at the time, and you can still see some are very passionate about it, my very first Merrill minute was proposed in October of last year was a Merrill minute that sought a report into how council could achieve phrasing the residential rates through the possible alterations to our special rate variation. This motion did not seek to immediately freeze rates, but instead was a considered request to the staff which sought their support in making a rate freeze possible. In fact, all it did was ask them to provide us with options that would see residential rates freeze or decrease.
Absolutely.
For some reason, Councillor Nosworthy and Councillor Pensabene voted against that motion. In speaking against at the time, Councillor Nosworthy said, I quote, "I'm a little bit confused why we would like to reduce or halt the rates." Well, Councillor, you were confused then, and it seems you and your comrade over there are still confused, but we'll get to that. Following this Merrill minute, the staff, under the leadership of our General Manager and our former CEO, organised, as was said, 4 councillor workshops which took entire evenings, and in those briefings, the Labor councillors, as they've admitted to tonight, fought against any changes to the pathway, even though the current pathway that we've now taken will lead us to the same position in 5 years' time. In those, well, happy to consult on that later. You clearly haven't read the list or listened in any of our briefings. Goes to show your efforts on this council. In consideration of council's long-term financial plan, we sought an outcome that would keep this organisation sustainable and afloat in the same position whilst not burdening any residents. So what was the final decision? It was agreed, finally, that we would not increase residential rates outside of an inflationary figure for the minimum rate only, the 6.9% that was quoted earlier, increase the rates in our heavy industry zone to offset the cost of doing so, and by doing so, we have a new plan that ensures council finds itself in the same position as previously planned, in a sustainable place, and that all residents are actually paying less today than they would have been under the Labor plan. Now, the inflationary increase is a figure prescribed by the state, known as the council rate peg, and it is standard practice for all councils to increase by the rate peg annually. And under this new model, only the ratepayers on the minimum rate will see the increase by the rate peg. An inflationary figure. As the minimum rate, councillors, point of order on the both of you. You're both on a first warning.
Yep.
When the vote came to finally adopt the new approach in March, which lowered residential rates, Councillor Nosworthy and Councillor Pensabene both voted against its adoption. By doing so, they voted to keep residential rates higher. Thankfully, they didn't succeed, which is why I'm now echoing your confusion, Councillor Nosworthy. First, you voted against an investigation into reducing rates. Then you've continued to argue and evidently still believe today that the previous path was the correct path.
We were told it was.
So I'll put another point of order. And when lower rates were then proposed in the budget, you voted against it. Suddenly, in the past few weeks, we have seen some activism from Councillor Nosworthy. How exciting. At the last council meeting, he argued that the new budget is unfair because the DFO in Homebush was to suffer a rate increase.
Point of order, Mr. Mayor. Unfortunately, you're misquoting me. My only point was our consultation contained a complaint from DFO, and I was
Noted. Thank you, Councillor.
bringing that quote.
So in other words, what the councillor was arguing, in other words, to paraphrase, was that the DFO, who increased their profits, by the way, by $250 million last year, should not see a rate increase, and instead their bill should be distributed amongst residents. In essence, that is what the councillor was arguing. What a bizarre argument, comrade.
Point of order, Mr. Mayor. As I just asked the CFO, 1,000 businesses are being hit with that increase in rate, not just the one that makes.
Thank you. Noted, councillor. Is this line of thinking... Is that your point of order, councillor?
I wasn't finished, but
Okay.
feel free.
Do you have a point of order to continue, councillor?
I think we've heard the important.
Okay, thank you. Thought so. Is this line of thinking not a retreat from your socialist Labor sensibilities, councillor? When our compromise for the new budget included rate reductions for billionaires, never did I anticipate your opposition, councillor. Fighting for billionaires. What a surprise from our Labor comrades. But the inconsistencies continue. The same councillor who argued that billion-dollar businesses should pay less and residents more is now stating publicly that average rates for this year were meant to be $854, but under our reforms are too high at an average of, the number quoted is $14.60.
Point of order, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, councillor.
The piece of media that you're referring to refers to your promise to reverse the rate rise, which go back to 2022.
Thank you, councillor.
And it says on that piece of media, little star,
Thank you, councillor. Noted.
Absolutely.
it's based on your promise, Mr. Mayor.
But councillor, I know you're a science teacher, councillor, but I don't know what chemicals you mixed together to come up with these magic numbers, because they were never part of our... Councillor, it's a second warning for you.
Okay.
And you'll be out on the third. Just noting that, okay. So it's pretty clear that Strathfield Labor have a truth problem. And can I just add that when we try to clarify some of these mistruths on Councillor Nosworthy's social media, he deleted comments. He deleted comments clarifying truths.
Point of order, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, councillor.
Your councillor Facebook page has blocked my councillor Facebook page. If you'd like to engage as councillors, then I recommend you unblock my councillor page.
Councillor, you've deleted every commentary I've tried to make.
That's not true.
Comments were deleted, councillor.
And blocks were made.
Sure,
6 months
a
ago.
block is very different to a comment being deleted.
If you would like to
It takes two to tango, councillor. Noted,
Point of order,
councillor.
if you'd like to comment as
You'll have another point of order in a moment if you continue.
as the mayor, then you need to do so as the mayor, and it will
Councillor.
remain where it is.
Thank you, councillor. So, Labor clearly have a truth problem in Strathfield. First they've argued for higher rates, now they're manufacturing numbers to come up with lower rates. Hypocrisy, thy name is Labor in Strathfield. So my advice to all councillors is that if you have any questions or need clarification on how our budget works, as though 4 briefings weren't enough, you are always more than welcome to book a time to speak to our wonderful staff who can clarify those matters for you. Further, if that's not enough, you're always more than welcome to move a motion in this chamber to cut rates or reverse the decisions we've made. Something those on my left have never attempted even once, despite all their fanciful rhetoric tonight. I, for one, am proud of the work our staff did to bring rates down relative to their plan, to scrap the previous plan to rate hikes by 93%, and to ensure that this new budget could ensure that this organisation remains sustainable.
It
Councillor.
wasn't our plan.
Thank you, councillor.
It was
But you're still advocating for it.
independent plan.
You are still advocating for it, just to clarify?
For it, yep.
Okay, just
Because
thank
we were
you.
told that it was the
Thank you.
best way to go,
Okay,
councillor, as you were told today.
Thank you, councillor. Finally, residents roll their eyes at moments like these. They don't want to see this sort of politics or infighting at council or the advertisements that Councillor Nosworthy keeps running. They want to see a collaborative organisation of community activists who are seeking positive local outcomes, working together. But unfortunately, some people can't see past the next election. I remind councillors that we all swore an oath to undertake the duties of the office of councillor in the best interests of the people of Strathfield. So we are here to serve the residents of Strathfield, and my door is always open to my council colleagues for collaboration, something those on my left have not done once.
Point of order, Mr. Mayor. I think I have 5 unanswered text messages from your mayoral phone, so I'm not sure how well this collaboration is going from your side.
Thank you, councillor. I'll note that. So I encourage all of you to vote for this motion, which reaffirms our council's commitment to reducing Labor's residential rate rises.
It was not Labor's.
But you still support it, councillor?
Excuse me, can you stop saying that?
Do you support it, councillor?
It's 2020.
Do you support the increase in rates to the previous amount? The IPART decision, do you support it?
2022?
Do you support it?
We already voted on that, councillor.
Just a question to the General Manager before we go to the vote. Will the current pathway reach the same point that the original IPART decision took us to?
Through you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, it will.
Thank you. Just clarifying for the councillors who weren't listening. All right, we'll take the motion to the vote. All those in favour, please raise your hands. Councillors Blackmore, Kai, Bellardi and Kim. All those against. Councillors Bensabene and Nosworthy. Carried. Declare the motion carried. We'll move on. All right, we have a second mayoral minute tonight. Bear with me.
Absolutely. Where is it?
I move that council immediately cease the current consultation process and hold any further reporting or action relating to the proposed closure of Rochester Street
That's my
Home.
urgent minute.
No, I have a mayoral minute, councillor.
And if you use my,
Oh, sorry, no, you've handed me someone else's. That's actually not mine.
that's my
I
urgent.
have a differently worded one from before the urgent. Sorry.
Jump in before you
You
again.
can actually use it if you want.
That this council immediately holds further works or community consultation on the proposed closure of Rochester Street and Beresford Road at Davies Square. Councillors, as we know, there's been significant community opposition to the project. We've all been CC'd in many, many emails and phone calls. I believe it's appropriate from the start of this meeting to just clarify that we as a council no longer support the project. We're against it. I personally don't support it. And I hope you will support me in ending any further works on this program. Any councillors wishing to speak for or against the motion? Councillor
Quick
Nosworthy.
question. I was of the opinion that you suggested the plan in the first place. I just want to check if that's correct.
No, councillor. It was councillor.
Thank you for taking up my urgent motion, councillor Bellardi.
I don't need to publish my mayoral minutes, councillor.
That was wonderful.
I don't need to publish.
Your mayoral minute today, just so you can use my.
Councillor, I don't need to publish my mayoral minute.
motion. But that will save time at the end of the meeting, so I don't have to put my urgent
Very
motion.
good. Thank you,
Point
councillor.
of order, Mr. Mayor. The level of interruption seems unnecessary at the moment. I know that.
Really, councillor? Is that what you're telling us?
Well, I've raised a point of order.
All right. Thank you, councillor. Continue.
When a councillor is speaking, they are able to speak without being interrupted. You've done it multiple times to both myself and
Likewise.
Councillor Beanie. And if you'd like to have a point of order, feel free. But otherwise, it would be recommended that you allow councillors to finish their statement.
Thank you.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Councillor Blackmore.
I would actually like to just add an extra point, if you'll be open to that, Mr. Mayor.
More than willing.
Yeah. That council commit to doing no future consultation in relation to this road closure. If you would accept that, Mr.
I
Mayor.
accept, councillor. Councillors, we'll move to the vote. All those in favour, please raise your hand. Carried unanimously. Thank you, councillors. We will now, excuse me, we'll now move to the matrix for items by exception. Excuse me. 10.1, 10.2, 10.3, 10.4,
Out, please, Mr. Mayor.
10.5, 10.6, 10.7,
Out, please, Mr. Mayor.
10.8, 10. GMU 1,
10.8 is out?
Yes.
CCS 1, CCS 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, CCS 7 out,
Oh, good.
CCS, we have to take CCS 7 out because there's a requirement to vote on delegates. CCS 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, which?
11. Sorry.
11?
1 second.
Why is 11 out?
We'll find out, councillor. CCS 12?
Sorry, Mr Mayor, can I just have 1 moment?
You may.
CC 11's out, yeah, sorry.
Yeah. CCS 12, CCS 13,
Please, Mr Mayor.
13,
13, correct.
14, P1, P2, P3 out, and CCS 13 out as well. Sorry, I'm just going back. P3 out, P4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, EO1. EO1 out actually. EO2, EO3 out. 12.1, 12.2 out, 13.1, 13.2, 13.3, and, sorry? Oh, yeah, true. And then, confidential matters.
That can go in.
Well. No. Anyone taking out the confidential matter? No?
No, that can go through.
Oh, sure. Yeah, that's true. It's a non-issue.
Sorry, Mr Mayor.
Yeah, which one?
10.3 amendment.
Yeah, 10.3 as well.
Taken out.
No.
10.3's out.
10.3 as well, yeah. Out. All right. All right, before we move to the notices of motion, we will go to the public. Actually, sorry, we'll deal with these by exception. I'll move that we deal with all those items not mentioned by exception. Can I have a seconder? Councillor Blackmore. I now put the motion to the vote. All those in favour, please raise your hands. Carried unanimously. Thank you, councillors. We have one speaker registered to address the meeting today. Speakers are reminded they have 3 minutes to address council on their item of interest, with a possible 2-minute extension if approved by this meeting. Speakers are advised that in accordance with the Code of Meeting Practice, they cannot ask questions of the council, councillors or staff. A councillor, through the chair, may ask questions of the speaker as long as it is direct, succinct and without argument. Councillor Pensabene. In line with Councillor Nosworthy's point of order earlier, councillors will be heard in silence.
Sorry.
Just a reminder, and you are on your final warning, so next time you will be out, so just think next time. Thank you. We have one speaker today, Mr. Peter Dobrajevich. Thank you. When you're ready.
Okay.
Councillor Pensabene, please leave the meeting. Thank you.
I know, I want her to listen.
No, unfortunately, a point of order, you'll have to leave the meeting. Thank you, Councillor, when you're ready.
Okay, the background here is litigation to remove a large and healthy tree, causing a risk to property and human life. I'd like to congratulate Councillor Noseworthy and Councillor Kim as the only 2 councillors who actually came and had a look at the problem. The council offered a DA to remove the tree, but with conditions straight from Utopia or Yes Minister. That is, the large tree can be removed, but it needs to be replaced with another large tree in exactly the same problem garden bed. Now, the issue at hand here is I'm concerned about the council either deliberately or carelessly dealing with applications for informal information access. I understand the council can refuse to release information, but they need to say that rather than say there is no information. Recently, I made an application where there must have been documents available as it was a contentious issue. The council returned the application and said there were no documents. I was originally going to ask you, the Mayor, to take personal responsibility on this matter and solve the problem. However, in a helpful discussion with the council's Governor's officer this afternoon, he said he would actually make direct inquiries of the officers involved in the matter rather than have me submit another form that would allow pursuing this matter with a formal review. So I have to congratulate that council officer for actually taking some initiative to actually solve the problem rather than sort of ignore it. Anyway, I'm happy to take questions on this one because this is an important issue in terms of disclosure. The informal information access is what the council encourages people to use. I could have paid my $30 and used a JIPA, like the formal, and then if I got this sort of ridiculous response, I could have had that reviewed externally. I don't think we need to spend extra council resources on doing unnecessary work. We just need to get the problem fixed. If there's documents, which there are, because it's a contentious matter, they need to be delivered in a timely manner. So, happy to take questions through the Mayor.
Not quite how the meeting will operate, taking questions.
Well, you might need clarification if you're going to, you know.
I am happy to, I've not encountered that one before. I'll just have governance through the general manager respond to whether or not, if that's all right with you, questions are possible in this context.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So typically what would be allowed is that the councillor can ask a question of the speaker.
The speaker cannot ask a question of the councillors. Okay.
Question of the councillor.
Reverse. Thank you. Please continue.
Well, as I said, the issue here is a document, a background is an unreasonable condition on a DA. If there was a question asked saying this was an unreasonable condition because it's very much like Utopia or Yes Minister, and the response back was no, we insist on that. Now, if the council is saying yes, we insist on that, and they've advised their external legal counsel to make that statement, there must be some documentation within the council that deals with that request to remove that unreasonable condition.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Is it the case that the relevant governance officer has told you that what they're providing you with is the full extent of what is available on that matter?
Yes.
Well, it's my view in that case, and I won't give a professional opinion, but I believe that the only way to deal with matters once that's the case is to speak with the Privacy Commission.
Well, the council, the governance officer very helpfully today said he would re-look at the matter and re-approach the officers at council who are involved, including the General Counsel and Mr. Porter, among others, to seek the documents. Now, if there's no satisfaction there, yes, a formal request can be made. I'll pay my $30 and we can go to the Privacy Commission. But do you really think it's a good use of council resources to have this litigation? I mean, we shouldn't even have the first litigation. Because the council caved very quickly on getting the tree removed when it was obvious there was a problem. Now, the next question coming up is, how much does the council spend on external legal advice when we've got council rates going up? I'm just making...
Rhetorical.
Right?
I think it's a rhetorical.
Can't ask an actual question.
It's a rhetorical question.
Can't answer.
Yeah, so I think that there's a big issue there, and I'm trying to be helpful to solve a problem, not doing political point scoring. This condition should be removed, but we need to know who made the decision. Is it a spiteful decision? Because as I said, yeah, you can remove a tree, but you have to replace the tree with an equally large tree. Like, you have to admit, and this is rhetorically, that sounds absolutely stupid.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on, we will go to the noms, beginning on 10 point. She did. Oh, okay. 10.3. Councillor Kim, you have moved this motion. I will second it. Would you like to speak for your motion?
Amendment. Can I?
You would like to make an amendment to your motion? That's allowed, yeah.
Through Mayor, I'd like to make amendment for reporting by September meeting. That's it.
For it to be reported on by the September meeting. Thank you, Councillor.
Council meeting or workshop?
Council meeting.
Councillors, would anyone else like to speak for or against the motion?
Maybe just a bit of a, yes. Thank you, Mr.
Councillor Nosworthy.
I was wondering if you had considered, obviously there is a number of flagpoles there, so whether the lights could be
Flagpoles?
the flagpoles for the
All the.
Young Memorial.
Yeah.
Because my understanding is if those flagpoles are illuminated, then flags can stay on them 24/7. So I don't know if that's something.
We'll just have the General Manager address the details of that matter.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, we're already in the process of putting lighting in for the flagpoles. I would probably just raise concerns that getting a report back to council by September may be problematic because there will have to be environmental factors that need to be taken into account. And getting an environmental impact report for lighting on those trees, particularly given the native bird life that actually lives in those trees, might take a bit longer than the September deadline that's been set.
Thank you. I'll now put the motion to the vote. As amended. Those in favour, please raise your hands. Carry unanimously. Thank you, councillors. Councillor, I have moved this motion, 10.4, residential parking. Basically, and I know there'll be some opposition here for whatever reasons, but for fun, I guess. But the purpose of this is it was against the recommendation of the officers previously, but I believe it is in the best interest of the community to give up to 4 per household, not apartment units. So for the people living in separated dwellings, so in a house rather than a unit, to be given up to 4 of the residential parking permits. We have plenty of families, share homes, etc. in Strathfield where there are much more than 4 people and sometimes well more than 4 cars in some cases. It's not fair to say that even though someone's a resident, their household has too many vehicles. So changing the limit from 2 to 4 is a lot more fair given what we have in our community, and maintaining 2-4 units is also appropriate in my view. Would any other councillors like to speak for or against the motion? Councillor Nosworthy.
Thank you. So according to our statistics presented to us recently, only 11.6% of Strathfield dwellings own 3 or more cars. So it's not a huge portion. Burwood only provides 1 permit, Canada Bay provides 2, so we would be out of step with surrounding councils. I think this is maybe the 3rd or 4th kind of parking related motion, and it's often to increase parking. My concern has been at every stage, we're kind of inviting more cars into the town centres, we're inviting more congestion, and I don't think that's in keeping with the town centre amenity that we want to achieve by inviting more cars in. We have 3 train stations. I think Strathfield's the 5th or the 7th busiest. There's plenty of transport options. I'm not sure providing more parking and inviting more cars into the town centres is an appropriate response.
Two responses from me if no one else wishes to speak for them. Councillor Blackburn.
Just a question, actually. Just confirming through the chair. Is it 1 permit for the units or is it 2? That was
sorry, just the clarification through the General Manager. It's 2 per. Yeah.
The other one is another question just in relation to the scheme. I've had a number of residents raise the concern with me that if they have a vehicle which is owned by a company that isn't based in Strathfield, that they actually can't register their own vehicle there. So is there any way that we can add a point there look into this as well, while we're discussing the parking.
Can we add that as maybe an amendment to investigate that matter at a future workshop?
To basically investigate allowing residents who have a company owned vehicle or drive a company owned vehicle to be allowed to have a parking permit.
Thank you, Councillor. Just to dispel a few more things that Councillor Nosworthy has said. The statistic that was quoted includes apartments and non-standalone houses. So it's relative to the rest of Strathfield. Sure, you can say people who live in apartment blocks don't have, maybe per apartment may not have as many cars, particularly if they live in the town centre, etc. But for our residential areas, not with apartment blocks, our low density zones, it's certainly true that the average number of cars skyrockets.
And that's fair enough. Do you mind if I...
And the second thing is, I don't think at all, I totally detest this idea that having a policy that gives people who have cars a simple permit is going to encourage more vehicles. I think that's a pretty, a pretty poor assumption to make, to be honest. We've had speaker against, two speakers for. We'll move to the vote. Councillors, all those in favour, please raise your hands. Councillors Blackmore, Bellardi, Kim and Chai against. Councillor Nosworthy, carried. We'll move to 10.6. Sorry, 10.7. Beautiful Businesses Grant. Councillors, I'll speak to this motion that I've proposed. We are looking at putting parking meters in some of our business zones. As you know, that's a scheme we've debated and fought over for a long time. Why have we fought over it? We appreciate, as a council, some of us at least, that we appreciate that the damage this will do to businesses is profound. If the initial plan had gone ahead, although it's an altered plan, I believe that the revenue, we as a council exist to serve our communities. And so if we collect revenue and use it on things not relevant to the areas where we've collected them, I think we're not doing our jobs very well. So I'd like to see some of the revenue that comes from parking meters in business zones going back to those businesses in the form of this grant. This will encourage not only the beautification of our community, but a grant where local businesses in Strathfield Town Centre, Homebush Shops, Flemington can apply each year to have different businesses every year to have a grant contribution from this council to support the renovations or shopfront fixes of their stores. So I think it is only fair we do this. It's not a very large grant, and it certainly won't be the full amount or even close to that of what we'll collect from the meters. So I think it's totally fair that we go ahead with this. And wishing to speak for or against?
Firstly, I'd like to second it.
Okay, thank you. We have a seconder. Councillor Nosworthy.
Yeah, just a question. I heard some numbers thrown around there. There's no numbers on there. Is there a number in mind for how much the grant would be?
Yeah, that's what I want to ask.
I thought I had included we've called for a report.
Yeah, fair enough.
So we will see. But I do have
I heard numbers and...
I do have some ideas in mind around numbers. Councillor Kim.
If you say it's grant is somebody is scrutinizing which ones.
Yes.
So I'd like to ask you about it's award. So award we have a prize. How much prize is open to everyone? So open prize for them if they want to compete. I think that's a better idea. My idea is that.
Councillor, the way that the grant process works, to clarify, would be an independent member of staff, or however we would do that, it depends, but we would provide, the idea would be that businesses make applications for the money to go to them. They provide a proposal, we want to do X renovations or whatever, and council, based on their proposal or their application, can provide that grant money. And there'll be, excuse me, a certain number awarded each year. So similar to what you're describing, but it's titled a grant process, but not out of line with what you are saying.
Because grant application, applying for grant is some community is very hard. But it's open prize for first, second, third prizes, and they can do what they can do. It is very fair and equal for every community, I think.
Thank you, Councillor. That's taken on notice. Moving to the vote, all those in favour, carry unanimously. Thank you, councillors. Moving to 10.8. Mr. Nosworthy, you've proposed this motion. Is there a seconder? The motion falls. Moving to GMU 1. Councillor Blackmore, you've pulled out this report. Would you like to speak against it? I'm assuming?
Not against it.
Okay.
Just I think that a couple of little things to tidy up.
I'll move it, by the way. Is there a seconder?
I'll second it.
Okay, thank you.
Just on point 5, all councils are informed of all tenders before any agreement is executed. I think there just needs to be, we do report these to council, so I think I would like that just in the recommendation, that it was all councils be informed of all tenders before any agreement is executed, and tenders be reported to council once executed. And in point 6, so basically with these shorter ones as well, I do think that that all councils be informed at a council meeting of the terms of any lease or licence with the term of less or equal to 1 year.
At a meeting, councillor?
Yes. Council meeting. So these were very particular delegations which were put in place a while ago because we didn't have a proper plan for our properties, the council's properties. And basically to detail the fact that even we had the mayor, an agreement couldn't be executed without the mayor signing it and things like this, which is sort of above and beyond what's necessary. Obviously it is still important that these things get reported to a council meeting and council is informed of what's happening. But I just think, it is, as I'm saying, those very, very particular delegations about the mayor signing, I think it is fine as long as they reported to council. Our council and the staff have done a lot of work on the council-owned properties, and they are heading in the right direction. But I think we still need to keep an eye on everything.
I think it's like, as the mover, I'll just question whether or not I'll accept the amendment. I do believe, in my view, councillor, that bringing it to a council meeting, which is monthly, could potentially delay unnecessarily, an important tender. Councillor.
So reported to a council meeting once executed.
Once executed, okay. All right, thank you. I'll accept in that case. All right, we'll put it to a vote, unless other councillors want to speak for or against. No, we'll go to a vote. All those in favour? Carried unanimously. Moving to CCS 7, I believe. For CCS 7, I'll move the motion. Is there a seconder? Councillor Blackmore. I'll move that this motion be dealt with in seriatim, so to divide the sections 4 and 5 from each other. I believe it is sections 1, 2, and 3 from each other. So to vote on them separately. The first one we'll vote on 4 delegates. I would like to nominate myself, Councillor Kai, Councillor Kim, and Councillor Blackmore to attend as the delegates at the conference. Would anyone like to speak for or against the motion? Councillor Nosworthy.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. You spoke earlier about working collaboratively, and you've included no one from the Labor Party in that nomination.
Any other councillors wishing to speak for or against the motion? Councillor Blackmore.
Just in relation to the delegates, Who is eligible to be a delegate at this conference?
I'll ask the question, I believe it's councillors. Last question to the General Manager.
Through you, Mr Mayor. Delegates at the conference, voting delegates are councillors.
So it can't be staff.
Fortunately. Thank you, Councillor Blackmore. We'll put the motion to the vote. All those in... Councillor Blackmore.
No, Cindy.
Indefinitely on leave. Councillor Blackmore.
Yeah, I just want to, just for the, just for the timing of the conference, I may not be available in that time, Mr Mayor. Yes, so I don't know if it's a good idea to put me down as a, if I get put down as a voting delegate, can it be changed?
It can be at a future council meeting, so between now and November we can vote in this forum to alter that. Thank you, Councillor. Councillors, move to a vote. All those in favour, raise your hands. Councillors Bellardi, Blackmore, Kai and Kim. Voted against. Councillor Nosworthy, I declare the motion carried. Moving to the second point, notify General Manager of any non-voting delegates. I'm happy to accept as is. Councillors in favour? Carried unanimously. We were voting, Councillor. Apologies. Move to the third. But would you like to ask a question? We'll move to the third, but you can ask a question of the second if you'd like.
I did want to amend it, but anyway.
That's all right. Moving on, the third there, endorse the notice of motions outlined in this paper to be provided for the conference. Would you like to ask that question now, Councillor, or make a comment at least? Okay. I'd like to actually propose amendment before you do, Councillor. So I'd like to amend it to, just out of context, for context, we had a very colourful experience at the recent convention in Canberra. Strathfield probably had the record for the most motions proposed at the convention, and so that's a circumstance at which I intend to no longer find myself. So, through the General Manager, can I ask, sorry, I'm reading the wrong question, reading the wrong amendment. The amendment being that Council seeks sponsorship from, again, the wrong one, where am I? That these items will be presented at a workshop and considered by Council at a later meeting before the convention. You can say just prior to the convention at the end. Thank you. Councillors wishing to speak for or against? Councillor Nosworthy.
I think it's mildly redundant in the face of your amendment, but I believe motions 2 and 5 are kind of on the same topic, so I just wonder if they could be...
The way it works at the convention is that Council, the amendment, any motions that are very similar or vaguely similar from across the country are amalgamated into a broader motion. I'll put the motion to the vote. Those in... Councillor Blackmore.
Can I amend it?
You try.
I actually wanted to add another point. So 4, that the...
Just, Councillor, we'll vote on this matter and then, why don't you foreshadow a motion? So we'll have you foreshadow a motion, no, not foreshadow, hang on.
I just picked this up to look at.
You can't foreshadow it because that relies on this failing, so...
Just let him do it.
What I'll do is, I'll allow your amendment, but then we will then go to vote on it in seriatim to split this new amended one into 2. So point 3 becomes what you amended to, and we'll split it into 3 and 4. Please state your amendment.
Okay, so the other amendment, basically, I think that it is important. A lot of these conferences, like this one, is just only based at Penrith, so it's close by. There's obviously a lot of times there's money in the budget for accommodation, things like that, which won't be necessary this time. So I would add a point, obviously up to this person, but that the Director of Corporate and Community be invited to attend the conference if available. Yeah. I do think it's important just for, it's a good experience and something, a bit of a learning experience.
Yeah, thank you, councillor. So we'll vote on this new motion. We'll divide it into two, because there are 2 points in it, so we'll be voting in seriatim. We'll go back to mine. I've moved it. Is there a seconder? Councillor Kim. All those in favour? Carried unanimously. And we'll now move to the 4th point. Vote on that. Councillor Blackmore has moved it. I'll second it. Is there anyone wishing to speak for or against? No. We'll vote. All those in favour? Carried unanimously. Thank you, councillors. Good. All right. CCS 11. Councillors, this is a report from staff. Councillor Kai, you pulled it out. Would you like to speak for or against the motion?
I have no more speak. I just want to be against it. That's it.
Okay, sure. Thank you, councillor. Would any other councillors like to wish to speak for or against the motion? Relating to parking meters, I believe.
This is the
CCS 11. No, this is the parking meters. Councillors, the recommendation is that
We are doing CCS 11.
CCS 11, councillors, this is the report be, the recommendation is that the report be received and noted. This is relating to the alteration discussed in the workshop relating to changes to the parking meter plans. Councillor Kim.
2-meter parking meter installation in Strathfield town centre area. I am against it.
Thank you, councillor.
So, amended.
We can't amend the minutes because this is just a report on the minutes of what was discussed. So,
how can I? So
Can't amend it. I'm against it.
if you vote against this, councillor, then we will not be accepting the minutes of that meeting, and my perception would be, and I'll ask the General Manager, that what would happen is that the minutes being rejected would go to the original plan of the parking meter program. This is the reduced plan, and so I would suggest we vote in favour of this, but I'll ask the General Manager if that would be the default position.
I might defer to government.
Yeah. If we reject the minutes of a...
Yeah, it's not normally a practice that you reject minutes because unless there's an inaccuracy for those who attended the meeting. So yes, it's not a normal practice.
Yeah.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. So what I would suggest is you would need to break up the resolution of council to receive and note the minutes. And if Councillor Kim or Councillor Kai were to move something else, there would be an addition to those minutes in that regard.
Okay. All right. I will take the wheel. I think what we'll do is, councillors, I will move the motion. Is there a seconder? Okay.
for now, yeah.
For now, I'll second. Yeah. So Councillor Blackmore, thank you. What we'll do is we will amend it. Jeez. We will amend it, councillor, to receive and note the minutes of the workshop where the alterations were discussed. And we'll add a second point that we will go back to a workshop to again discuss the parking meters in Strathfield. Okay? We will again discuss that plan. Do you accept the alteration, Councillor Blackmore?
I think there's a different way to do it.
I think this is the appropriate approach, councillor.
Yeah. Another workshop.
Yeah. All right, councillors, we'll move to the vote. Excuse me.
Can I just say,
You may.
would it not just be fitting to say that a point there that says council no longer endorses resolution 214/23 and that the parking management in Stratford be brought back to a council workshop?
That's possible, councillor. As the mover, I think it's more appropriate to bring it back to a workshop altogether and not reject plans. We can halt plans to bringing it back to a workshop and rediscuss, and the General Manager will comment.
Through you, Mr Mayor, you couldn't reject resolution 214 because that resolution is already in the process of being implemented. So you're unable to reverse that decision.
Yeah. And monies have been spent, it's been enacted in a sense, and so...
Just put a word, Mr Mayor. Like, monies have been spent, but we've had 6 workshops, which aren't decision-making things, and there's obviously been some, back and forth as to what we actually want to do. So why did we spend the money? Because I didn't spend the money.
Councillor, we can't rescind, Councillor Kim, just a point of order. We can't rescind the decision of a previous decision. We can't rescind a previous decision because it's been enacted already, but we can pause its ongoing activities, come back to another workshop and discuss. I acknowledge there's been a number of workshops already on this matter over a very long period of time, but I'd rather discuss again than let this than not accept minutes, which we are expected to do. Accepting the minutes and then going back to a workshop might be the best alternate to all that.
Can I ask?
You may, Councillor.
Dear Mayor, the spending money and buying a machine, meter machine, before we decide, have you purchased already?
Councillor, a decision of a previous... previously, the council did decide and agree to the installation of parking meters through the laws referenced by Councillor Blackmore earlier. In that decision, authority and delegation was given appropriately for those purchases to take place. We have discussed at length the extension of that program, and we are now looking to potentially bring it back to a workshop and delay it further. Would the seconder agree with the amendment?
As it is.
As is.
I'd probably want to add another amendment that any feedback from the community consultation, from any community consultation that was conducted, be provided to councillors. I voted against this. I've checked the records. I voted against it every time. So did Councillor Pensabini. And I believe Councillor Maheswaran voted against it as well. So I don't support parking meters on our streets. I never have. I will not. So that's on the record. I've made it very clear to everyone.
Thank you, Councillor.
Make it
Alright, we'll put the motion to the vote as amended. Councillors, all those in favour, raise your hands. Carried unanimously. Thank you, councillors. Moving to
E3.
no, CCS 13, community bus. Excuse me, councillors, we have an officer recommendation for this report. Would anyone like to, I'll move the officer recommendation. Is there a seconder? Councillor Blackmore. Anyone wishing to speak for or against the motion? Councillor Blackmore.
I was going to suggest an amendment, Mr Mayor. There's only a 12-month waiting for stock, so I'll probably delete points 2 and 3 and replace it with that council sells the existing bus.
As the mover, I'll accept. We'll go to the vote.
Oh, sorry.
Nosworthy.
Yeah, overall I'm against buying a community bus that can be hired when we had a community bus that was driven around for community members. I feel like we could be better using this money and reinstalling a driven community bus. which obviously the Mayor has agreed publicly to work with me on. So I might propose an amendment, but that Council be presented with a report to initiate a new community bus managed by an external agency.
Probably won't accept that. Let me think. I reject the amendment, Councillor.
Didn't think for very long.
We'll go to the vote on the amendment, if you like, Councillor.
Doesn't have a seconder, isn't it? Just.
That is true. Would anyone like to second it? Second the amendment.
Which amendment?
Councillor Nosworthy, that councillor is presented with a... No. Councillor, does anyone like to support the... Second the amendment? The Councillor Nosworthy is proposing at the bottom? No? Okay. The proposed amendment falls. We go to the amended motion, which has become the motion, and we'll go to the vote. Councillor Blackmore. Oh, sorry. We'll go to the vote. Sorry, now I don't know if you're wanting to speak or voting. Councillor Blarty, Blackmore, Kim and Kai. Sorry, I should not bring them there. All those against? Councillor Nosworthy, carried.
I don't vote, I'm against anyway.
That is true. That is true. Now we go to P3. Real estate pointer signs. Councillor will leave the room. Councillors, there's an officer recommendation. I will move it. Is there a seconder? Councillor Chai. Councillors, anyone wish to speak for or against the motion? Councillor Nosworthy.
I support the motion in practice, but I think maybe it could be extended. There's a sign I drive past very regularly with it's not a pointer sign technically, so excuse my slight tangent. It's a very large face of a real estate agent. And then it is beside...
Is the sign large or is their face large?
The sign's large. And then next to it is I wouldn't, the sign is large. And then next to it are, I think, 4 or 5 political signs. So I wish maybe we're pushing a little bit further in terms of visual pollution in reducing overall signage, including real estate signage, political signage, advertising signage that's, unpermitted on the sidewalk. So I do support overall, but I think it could be extended to include more types of signage.
Would you like to propose amendment?
Yes.
Well, just your amendment first then.
Amendment first. And number 5, to include other forms of signage, including out-of-date political signage and A-frame, unpermitted A-frames. Actually, quick question, do they need permitting?
Yes.
Yes. Perfect.
If they have...
I'll reject the amendment. Councillor Kim?
Number 3, council regulate petrol and enforce removal. We have to keep them within time frame.
Yes, I actually do have an amendment myself. Hang on. Sorry, you just reminded me. That is my amendment. That is my amendment. My amendment is...
Otherwise, there's an amendment.
I saw one in a tree.
Yes. Councillor Kim, thank you for reminding me. I would like to amend and add a 5th point that a grace period of 4 weeks be provided with official warning sent to those who breach the new policy.
Okay. Question.
I'll just ask a question to the officer. Yeah. Just to clarify some of the rules that were discussed tonight, if that's possible.
Sure. Mr. Mayor, there's 3 different sort of bits of legislation that we can use: the Roads Act, the Local Government Act, or the Public Spaces Act. The report highlights all of those. We'll probably be using the Roads Act for those pointer signs. It's the most simplest version that we can do. That dictates how long we can keep signs for or take possession of signs. Just to your point around a month's grace, that's fine, happy with that. The other thing, just to Councillor Nosworthy's point around the largest signs, we are actively going after those at the moment. Those are actually prescribed, those signs, 3.5 metres for commercial signs, quite big, and then 2.5 for residential signs. Actively going after those. I think we've issued in the region of 20 infringements because people are not, and there's rules around how quickly you can take them down and leave them up and all that stuff. So that is actively being done right now.
Thank you. Anyone else for or against the motion? No, we'll go to the vote. on the amended motion, which is now the motion if the seconder accepts? Yep. All those in favour? Carried unanimously. And finally...
That's what it's for.
EO1, thank you, Councillor. EO1, I have an amendment to EO1. Councillors, this is a recommendation from the staff. Sorry? I'll move it. Seconder, Councillor Kai. EO1 to be amended. Strathfield Council enforce usage of synthetic fields to within the bookable operating hours outlined in the report. and the rest as reflected on the screen. Councillors, anyone else wishing to speak for or against the motion?
Can I just have a moment to double check those times?
I believe they are between, I'll just ask the officer, I believe they are between 8 a.m. is the earliest booking and the final booking is 5 p.m. It might be, or 6:30 p.m. during the week.
I think I found out at 5 p.m. on a Sunday.
5 p.m. on Sunday, but it's different during the week.
I think I found it.
Okay, just clarification through the General Manager, I'll ask the staff.
Through the Chair, the sporting grounds allocation policy has different hours through the week. So Monday to Fridays it's 7 a.m. to 9:30 p.m. Saturdays it's 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Sundays it's 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Thank you. We'll move to the vote. All those in favour? Carried unanimously. Thank you, councillors. EO3, I believe.
No.
Yes. Yep. EO3. My amendment is that option 2, as set out on page 2 of this report, be exhibited to amend the 2025-26 fees for an additional bin service. As reflected on the screen. Is there a seconder?
I second it.
Do you accept the motion, the amendment? Thank you. All those wishing to speak for or against? Nosworthy.
I just think I have a question. I did ask the officer already, so maybe it's to you, Mr. Mayor, in terms of how many people have contacted you in terms of they use their green bin for council land and therefore it is just for sure.
Without giving any specific numbers, councillor, there's been significant correspondence when this policy was communicated for people who do have 2 or 3 green bins, particularly, interestingly enough, people live on corners, said, look, I live on a corner and I have much more of the council nature strip to clean up than others. My green bin fills up, one of them fills up just from that, which is not actually my land, but I'm cleaning it. And so I shouldn't be charged a service for the collection of council's grass cuttings. And many made the very kind offer of just simply not cutting the grass. And so that's this amendment to the policy seeks to ensure that those people are not unfairly punished for having extra green bins to collect green waste. The only cost associated will be the cost of the bin itself. So if you like an extra green bin, you'll be charged for the bin itself, but not the service. Any other councillors wishing to speak for or against the motion?
Just want to clarify.
What does it mean? Green bin, additional green bin charge, no cost?
Councillor Blackmore?
Yeah, when you say set out option 2.
It's in the report, not the recommendation.
On our page, it's 438.
Where?
The table.
Page 2 of the report.
438, yes.
438, yes. So it's option 1, option 2. It's the second option on the right-hand side of the table. So that would be a new fee of, for an extra red bin, a new fee of $1,050 annual service. For an extra yellow bin, a new fee of $614. But for an extra green bin, $0. It's a free service. Councillor Nosworthy.
I think this may be a question through the chair to the officer. Is there a concern that the number of purchases or the purchases of red and yellow bins will be reduced, and therefore we might end up at a loss because the behaviour will change if the price is higher for the green, sorry, I keep saying green. For the red and yellow bin, less people purchase them, and therefore we just end up losing money overall because we're giving away a free bin and then less people are buying the more expensive bin.
Through the chair, we're actually concerned that if the green bin is free, then more people may choose to take it up, which may then, make differences in the overall cost of the service. We do review our fees and charges for the waste service each year, and we may have to adjust those fees and charges depending on the impact of changing these particular fees and charges for the extra bins.
Councillor Kim?
For the yellow bin is recycling items. Usually recycling items return and collect. People bring it and get money. So our council, if we use yellow bin, if we collect all the yellow bins, do you, who is manager or clean up this yellow bin? Do they pay us or not?
I'll just ask through the general manager the question.
Through the chair, not all the waste in the yellow bin is subject to the 10-cent refund, which I think we're referring to. So it's only the glass bottles or the drink bottles that get the 10% refund. So all the paper and things like that, we still have to pay a disposal fee.
I don't mean only the bottles. I mean all the items in the recycling bin can be used for the good use for future something else. That's why it's recycling. So recycling makes a lot of money for them, as far as I understand it. So do they charge us?
Yes.
Cleaning service fees, they charge us? Can you negotiate with them?
Through the chair, yes, we certainly
And
do
we
charge.
negotiate, get the money from them, reduce the residential people to reduce the fees. What do you think?
We get charged for the yellow bins.
Yeah, thank you, Councillor Blackmore. Did you have a question as well or a comment?
Just a question through the chair. My understanding, and I know there was an issue with this in the past, my understanding is, and I'm not a lawyer, but I thought the legislation actually states that it's actually supposed to be cost recovery of the service. So if we're charging more than what we charge for a normal service for someone who gets an additional red bin, and then we're giving someone else a free green bin, have we looked into whether that is a breach of legislation to do something like this? The other question or point that I'll probably make is, I've been on the council for a while, and there's some councillors aren't here anymore, who would go around with their street meetings and things like that, and basically, hey, I've got these free green bins, so let me help you get a free green bin. So I don't think it's really a smart thing to be handing out free green bins without any conditions or any parameters around what constitutes them being eligible to get a free bin, if it was only supposed to be used for the extra nature strip service. So I just think it's a bit silly to go with just straight out option 2, handing out free green bins. But I do think if someone does have a nature strip that's oversized or a corner block or something like this, that yes, council could have some strict parameters in those circumstances. I'd also probably say that it's probably not a good idea to be actually, put it like there should be a line drawn in the sand to say, whoever has it and in these conditions, eligible to keep it for now, but we're not going to give out any free ones in the future. It just doesn't make sense to...
That's not in the proposal though, Councillor.
Well, that's what I'm saying. My comment.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah. So I'll probably, I won't be supporting your recommendation, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor.
I'll put an amendment.
Condition? Under the condition?
That a set of conditions for eligibility to keep existing free green bin services be established at a upcoming councillor workshop. And a report come back to council.
Councillor Kai? Last one, please. I'll, just before you go, I will accept the amendment. Continue.
Thank you. Okay, I quite support, what Councillor Esther King said, have a bit of review for the yellow beans. If we can have a report, can have a report back, for how much we spend to process the yellow bean. Okay, that's my amendment.
Yellow bean? It's not so much recycling.
All right, we'll move to a vote. All those in favour, please raise your hand.
The amended motion?
Of the amended motion.
Amendment first?
No, the amendment has been accepted. So the amendment, the motion becomes.
The amended motion.
The amended?
I was amended to just have my point.
Oh, to just have your point?
Yes.
I'll reject that. We'll vote on the amendment.
I'll foreshadow it, thank you.
Okay, well, foreshadowed motion. Those in favour of the original motion, raise your hands. All right. Councillor Bellardi. All those against the original motion, Councillors Blackmore, Nosworthy, Kim and Kai, for not raising your hands. And then the new motion is the foreshadowed motion, which was what was proposed by Councillor Blackmore. All those in favour of the foreshadowed motion, which is the new motion, raise your hands.
Do we need a seconder?
Is there a seconder?
Oh, yeah, I can do it.
Yellow bean.
Councillor Nosworthy?
Not only green bean, but the yellow bean too.
We're voting on this
motion. All those in favour, raise your hands. Councillors Blackmore, Kim, Nosworthy and Kyle. All those against, Councillor Bellardi. All right, declare the motion carried. Moving to residential waste service. No, 12.2. We will come to 12.2. And that'll be our last one. Okay, my amendments for 12.2, I will move the motion, the recommendation. Is there a seconder? Councillor Blackmore. I will amend for 6.1 that the 6 existing spaces of the taxi rank be contracted to only 2. And 2, that the space immediately behind the zebra crossing all the way until the proposed no stopping zone be converted to a no parking kiss and ride zone. And that recommendations 3 and 4 of 6.1 be accepted. And as a final point for, and I've lost the number, for 6, hang on. For the proposal, no, never mind. That's all. So sections 3 and 4 of 6.1 be accepted, but a 1 and 2 be added or amended so that the existing 6 space, as is written. Can a third point be written that recommendations 3 and 4, actually it's not needed. All right. Anyone wishing to speak for or against the motion? Councillor Nosworthy.
I'm just concerned, Mr Mayor, that the average occupancy of those 6 taxi rank spaces is 85%, so I feel like we're just kind of, they're going to shuffle off somewhere else, maybe into no stopping zone, unfortunately. So I don't think I can support this amendment.
Councillor, any other councillors wishing to speak for or against the motion? Councillor Blackmore?
Look, Councillor, Mr Mayor, Bellardi, look, I will definitely be supporting this motion. There is a taxi rank on the other side of the station as well, and I think it's a good longer approach, and I'm happy to support it. Thank you.
Can I ask a question?
You may.
It might be a question no one knows the answer. Do we know how many taxi spots are on the other side, Mr Mayor or Mr?
I don't have the answer. No, I don't think so.
Worth a try?
Possibly 3.
Yeah, it's 3 or 4, something along those lines from anecdotal experience. We'll move to a vote. All those in favour? Councillors Bellardi, Blackmore, Kim and Kai. All those against? Councillor Nosworthy. Carried. The matter to be dealt with confidentially was accepted by exception, I believe. Is that not right?
Councillor, any questions with,
Yes, we'll go to questions with notice. Questions 3.1 to 3.3 to the General Manager.
Through you, we'll take those questions on notice and we'll bring them back as a response to the next council meeting.
Thank you. Matters of urgency. There is a matter of urgency, but the councillor is not present and it's been dealt with. No confidential matters we must deal with, and we'll go to the conclusion of the meeting. There being no further business, I declare the meeting closed, the time being 8:07 p.m. Thank you.